Hello and welcome to the channel. As per usual, the place is a mess, so we need to tidy this up. This is not a tidying up video. This is a let's get things settled for good kind of a video. So I don't really know, but a lot of odd jobs are going to happen here today. But the first thing I want to do is put the floor back down. But to do that, I want to tidy up some loose ends. I bought this. This is a metal shears. Speaking of loose ends, let's get rid of all of these. Re-grease, re-grease. Where there was a flood, we re-grease. Belt and braces. I'm just sealing all my joints with this, just to make sure it stays sealed. The plumbing needs to come through the wall, so I need to make the galley, at least the frame, so that I know where sinks and bits and pieces are going to be. Cooker is there. The fridge is down there. The sink is in the garage. And then everything else is just cupboard space. We're having lovely weather at the moment. Really nice, summery, warm weather. It's about 26 degrees at the moment. So we're all in t-shirts and we're all having a great time here in London. But next week it's going to plummet. So while I have the good weather, this is my flue. It is installed upside down. So as you can see with all the streaks that came out, if it rains, it just goes down the outside. So that needs to be turned upside down and put in. It should be just relatively simple to do. Let's undo these. Oh, that could take a while. Right, the nuts are off. Let's see if we can lift this. Break the seal. So what I had done is thinking about gases. I had the male bit pointing upwards, and then this would slide down over it, and thinking the gases wouldn't get past, and that's the reason they did it that way. But I was wrong. It's the other way round. What you want is the water to go down the inside of the chimney into the fire and not go on the outside. I had also neglected to buy this bit. This bit goes onto the collar in the roof, slides over nicely, leaving you with the male bit coming down. First bit goes in like that. Got it? Yeah. And then we have the male bit, points down, so the water goes into the fire. Another male piece going in, continuing its downward descent. Go on like so, nice and tight, and then that goes onto there, so that has to go in there. Michael, if you could lift it now. Beautiful, and drop it down. Is it right in? Thank you, Michael. It is incredibly hot. The weather, though, is going to plummet in the next few days, and we're going to get into close to freezing conditions. That's why, while the weather was good, get that chimney sorted out so that I can work in the boat with some nice heat. Ooh! I want to start building the galley. This is the crappy old wood I've got. It's not too bad, but this is as straight as it's going to be. I'm slightly making this up as we go, and I'm just trying to work out a layout. So there's a little line I've marked, which goes across there, and then it goes all the way down to the fire, to about there, and that's exactly 2.5 meters. And I think that's enough to be able to get all the bits and pieces in. Bit of a problem, really. Too tall. I mean, sure, it's sort of okay for me, but way too tall. Keep it simple, stupid. The fridge is the tall bit. If I put that on top of that, then that will reduce it by quite a bit. And it'll just skim over the top of the fridge, and then everything else can be just lower. So this frame, if I cut it here, bring it down. Anyway, you'll see. Let's just get the situation with the fridge sorted first. Out upon the sea. Perfect. One screw in each. It's my equivalent of spot welding. Right, the next thing to do is to probably bring the sink down, because I do need to know where it fits on top of this. as to how the rest of it's going to work out. What I'm thinking is the sink will be here, then that would mean ideally the oven, imagine that's the sink, the oven would be there, and then there would be a chopping board and storage and stuff, and then the fire. The reason the fridge is over here is to keep the fridge as far away from the fire as possible. I do have to turn the door, so there's the hinge, so I can switch the hinge out and have it open that way, because that will be a lot easier when you're doing the cooking. And of course there's the diner right opposite, so it's starting to feel like it's coming together, and the rest of the boat will just be open plan and the bedroom in the corner. Right, now I am going to grease the bilge. That section is all greased, that section is all greased, and just a bit underneath me. So let's grease away. Well, now that it's all greased up, let's put the floor back in, and I believe this is sort of permanent. I know I have a water pump to go there, so I need electricity to get there as well. So before I put the board back up, it would be good to get some wires in there. I will need a pump, and I need the fridge, and I need 12 volts for the oven. This is 50 meters of tinned 29 amp wire. So that's why the wires are silver, but down the middle they're copper, and this is to prevent corrosion. This is the kind of wire you use in marine environments. I need to drill a hole through this so I can thread the wires through. Oh dear, am I going to end up with a load of insulation wrapped around this? Probably. That's what I was worried about. Oops. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, insulation. This one says fridge. Now that I've got the end, I can start feeding it. So I'm going to bring it from there, up here, goes in behind the wood there, go up behind the wood up there, straight across to here, down the piece of wood there. Oh, hello. So I need to put another hole in there. Feed the wire through. Right fridge on the other end, so I know which wire is which. So now I will do that for the oven and for the pump. Fridge, water pump, oven. The cables I'm using are oversized. They're 29 amp 2.5 millimeter squared cables. I don't need that much. That's almost double what you really need, but there's two reasons. Voltage drop with the DC, so the longer the length of the cable, the electricity starts to get weaker by the time it gets to the end of the cable. So to avoid that, if you have a nice thick cable, it doesn't have voltage drop. The second thing is the battery bank is dead center in the middle of the boat. The distance from there to the end of the boat and there to the front of the boat is 30 feet most. Next reason is fire. The deal with DC is DC causes fires, AC causes electrocution and death. Cables are really thick, like 29 amp cables, and you have a 16 amp fuse well, the fuse will blow at 16 amps, and your cables, which are 29, will be able to, the electricity will be shut off in the cable, which means that you will never have a situation where your cables will catch fire, because the fuse will have blown long before we even get to that. Tinned wires for corrosion, thick wires to avoid fire and to avoid voltage drop. Guess where I'm going to put the hole? Let's reassemble this. Do I want to flush up against the wall, or do I want it coming out so that it's actually lined up with the center of the boat? My instinct is to go with the lining up with the center of the boat so it's equidistant. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do actually. Well, it's stuck to the floor. Now what I want to do is make sure it's square. That needs to move up.
Is it just me, or have you forgotten about the plumbing for the sink?
Oh dear, I completely forgot about the plumbing.
You